I'm Michael Connor, and I am willing to admit to you tonight, as we start this show, the Locked on Texans Squad show, if you aren't in full-on panic mode about this football team, what are you looking at?
Stan Norfleet here. Second take Tuesday, looking at that Seattle game on Monday night. Yes, it was as bad as it looked in live television.
Hold on. I'm John Hickman. I'm talking to the Texans. No changes are being made right now.
Yeehaw! It's time for the Texans Squad. Everything Houston Texans, every week. Bringing you the big hits, game-changing plays, and all the action straight from the Lone Star State. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Saddle up and squad up. It's the Texans Squad show, starting now.
Hello and welcome to the Locked on Texans Squad show. Michael Connor, John Hickman, Stan Norfleet, we're with you. We feel like we're finally recovering slowly from the late night that we had Monday night into Tuesday morning for the Texans and the Seahawks. Not only did we have to watch a bad football game, but we also had to stay up super late to do it. But we're grateful for all of you that stuck around and watched that show live. And then, of course, those of you that came back later and watched it as well. And those of you that are also checking out John's daily work here on the Locked on Texans YouTube page and, of course, anywhere that you get your podcast. Hi, guys. Welcome. First of all, I guess before we get into all of it, we're going to get a deep dive into everything tonight because everything is bad. How you feeling a couple of days later about this loss to the Seattle Seahawks, John?
T-I-R-E-D. And that spells I'm still tired, man. I'm still tired. Well, we didn't probably go to bed until 2:00. You know what makes it worse? You know, I'd have been okay if I came on this show with you guys and Wade and we talked about a win and how Houston pulled it out. But as the game went on, if we didn't have to do a squad show, I would have went to sleep and I would have just caught the highlights the next day. I'm semi-joking because I always watch a full game, but it was hard to stay up and watch that until midnight. That was hard, guys. But
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I sat there in my chair in the living room before we did that show, and I was doing this in the fourth quarter. My wife kept having to yell at me, "Stay awake! You got to go do a show. What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, they stink."
The game officially ended at 1:24 a.m. local.
You mean 12:24?
12:24. What did I say? Yes.
I was like, "What?"
All right.
We were done.
Yeah. 12:24. So we talked about, right, this was the first time in the D'Amico CJ era. There are 8 teams that they have not faced through 3 seasons or into the 3rd season. They're going to play another one this weekend, but Seattle cannot get crossed off that list. NFC is now 25-13 over the AFC this season. I think that's telling. And when you go back and do, I know it's Wednesday, but when you go back and do second take Tuesday and look at the tape, it is as bad as it looked live. It's just, this is not a complete football team. And we know what side of the ball this is. Now, special teams, they got some things we need to talk about. You know, Kaimi Fairbairn kicking the ball out of bounds when D'Amico told him, not kicking the ball out of bounds, when D'Amico told him to kick it out of bounds and preserve a timeout at the 2:04, right there before the 2-minute warning. But that offense, and we know this is where the conversation is going to hover mostly. They aren't beating 98% of National Football League teams. They aren't beating with that offense right now.
It's the truth. We are how many weeks into the season now? That was 7 weeks?
This will be going week 8.
But this is
like
6 games now, and they're 2-4. It's the same. We are literally going. I know that we for a brief minute got a little hot and optimistic there. Some of us on this show.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you said that part.
John, slightly a little bit too. Not as much as me, probably, but it's the same thing.
Yeah,
they're gonna when they play. I feel confident in this. When they play bad teams this season, the rest of the way, they're probably gonna look okay.
How many bad teams they play next?
Oh God, that's
San Fran is a good coached up team. They
you
5-2.
got to play Tennessee again.
That's it.
And we'll see where the Raiders at the end of the year. See where the Raiders are.
Oh yeah, they're terrible.
Raiders.
So yeah, hey, they got 2 more wins, 4-win season, 4-13, guys. That gets you a top 5 pick.
So there were a couple of grievances that I had
Lay 'em out.
from Monday night's game that kind of spilled over. And I do want to take the time to shout out all of the hardworking Houston media members that covered the Houston Texans. I think over the last 48 hours, they've done an amazing job, just kind of, and to say it plainly, staying on the necks of DeMeco Ryans and the Houston Texans. Not kicking the ball out of bounds. Stan already kind of mentioned it. Okay, that was a game plan, but that didn't happen. The game plan all week, according to DeMeco Ryans, was Derek Stingley was supposed to play a little bit more physical at the line of scrimmage to kind of make life harder for JSN.
Said he was supposed to press him.
Supposed to press him.
There's supposed to be more press coverage.
Were 12%. So those two things I'm looking at, why aren't these things happening if that was the game plan and if that was what was supposed to happen? Was the communication, or were the players just in their own head and disregarded the head coach? Go back, look at the game, 10 penalties. We're back to that.
105 yards.
5 yards lost. I go back to the game, and we talk about Houston constantly, or CJ Stroud constantly being under pressure. And I've said it before, I said it again, we judge him too much on how he does under pressure because he is often under pressure. But then I look at some of the route concepts and how Seattle was getting after the quarterback, making life hell for the offense. They even sent a double corner blitz. You typically don't even do that in Madden. You leave one of your corners out there. But I didn't see any plays that should have been installed to beat those pressures. And it seemed like consistently the only option for CJ Stroud outside of the underneath plays to Dalton Schultz, which he did a great job on, was just airing the ball out down the field. And that connection wasn't there. I believe CJ was 4-15 on passes that traveled past 10 yards.
Oh, you mean you shouldn't throw 4 consecutive go balls?
No, you should. Wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, that was Stan. Yeah, that was Stan. That was Stan. No, you should. And then on all of those go balls, and when we talk about it, I'm sure we're going to talk about later, like Houston will be without Nico Collins. They don't have a wide receiver 2 on this team, depending on how you want to look at it, and the lack of targets for the rookie receivers. Jalen Noel came alive, so that was a positive. They don't have a wide receiver 3 on this team that you can consistently count on. And the chemistry between CJ and Higgins, I mean, Higgins was open on a couple of those throws downfield. CJ just overthrew him. So there were things that happened. CJ was not good Monday night.
CJ was bad, no question.
Night that I just sat back after I looked at it some more and I thought to myself, the direction for this team is being pulled everywhere. And when I hear DeMeco Ryans, who I have a lot of respect for, say things like, we felt like it was better to rotate our guards, our left guards, and you're going up against Seattle. Coming into that game, I think they were tied for second in the NFL for sacks on the year.
They're the number 1 run defense in the league.
Number 1 run defense.
But you should rotate, guys.
Yeah, just rotate them. If you don't have one, if you got 2 quarterbacks, what you don't have?
None. How about this? So here's what I'm going to do.
You got 2 left guards, you don't got a left guard.
I'm going to rotate left guards while I got a rookie left tackle that's out there getting absolutely baptized. There are several moments that Ariante Ursary just looks lost. He's got guys coming free off the edge, and it's Kaylee's fault for leaving him out there like that. How many weeks have to go by where we're asking the offensive coordinator not to expose your rookie left tackle? Oh, guess who else doesn't appreciate rotating left guards? How about Jake Andrews that absolutely got his lunch handed to him by Jerry Reed? Go back and look at the tape. He had no chance.
It's compromising. I mean, that offensive line from the beginning of the game, once you get into a place where your game plan is to rotate left guards, and I just can't buy that. I'm sorry, guys. I cannot buy a coach as smart as DeMeco Ryans, albeit a defensive-minded head coach, but he's intelligent. I cannot buy that was the game plan. Where is the cover-up here? Who are you covering for? Because as a defensive-minded head coach, you know if a team does that and they're going up against Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, and the guys that you have in the middle, you know that's lunch. So why would you do that to a Jake Andrews, who I think this is his 8th career game in the NFL?
Something like that.
A Juice Scruggs, who I think in the last 2 weeks you found something there, whether it was monumental or minute, you found something there. A Laken Tomlinson, who ain't played good football, and stand to your credit, you do that to an Ariante Ursery, who he needs that communication with the guy on side of him, and then he also ain't getting no chip and the help on the outside, and you're going up against Leonard Williams, who no matter where he plays on that defensive line, he can create plays and be a game record. Byron Murphy, who's found it. Jordan
Reed.
That's not the game plan. And if it is, we come back to where's the faith in D'Amico Ryans and what they're doing with this roster and how they're going about putting together an offense. It's BS, in my opinion.
So Laken Tomlinson played 40, I'm looking at now, 57% of the snaps. Scruggs played 43% of the offensive snaps. Braxton Berrios played 3 more snaps of wide receiver than Jalen Noel did. We already talked about in the post game. Why is Berrios back? What has he done? Like, you need some juice. Berrios, I know what he's done in the past. I'm talking about this year. He's been nicked up. Jalen Noel is your best return man option. Leave him back there. And so you start looking at this thing. Hutchinson played the most. Hutchinson, from a wide receiver standpoint, 78% of the snaps. So that's how that breaks down. You still got people asking, what is Darrell Gumbawale doing in the game on third down? Still, they trust him. That's what they want to do. Look, man, I'm going to stand on this, and this is going to make some people uncomfortable, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that it's not true. I started this offseason. Look at not just the roster, elevating the assistant offensive line coach to be the head guy from that unit last year. Another first-time play caller after D'Amico had booted his boy Bobby Slow. C.J. Stroud, you got to bear the brunt of some of this offensive line looking that way. D'Amico's talked about that today, meaning there's a lot that goes into the protection of the quarterback more than just the lineman's execution. It's the quarterback. C.J. wanted more control. This is what it looks like. The receivers have to block. The tight ends have to block. The guys in the backfield have to pass pro. Universally, I told you, Christian Kirk is going to miss games. How do you know that, Stan? Because he always misses games over the last 2 years. Respectfully, we know Nico is going to miss games. So you're trusting, and look at where you are now. If Nico and Kirk can't go, here comes, and it's no disrespect. It's just what my eyes see. Here we are with Xavier Hutchinson and 2 other wide receivers from Iowa State going up against a Robert Saleh defense coming in here this Sunday.
Good luck.
Good luck.
That's just
and this team really does miss 2 players, guys. Y'all know, number one. So when I look at how Houston has been really consistently unable to beat the pressure, there's not a player on the roster that they miss more. Stan, I know you may be thinking of Joe Mixon, and yes, they do.
That's why I was going.
I think you're going to go Tank Dell.
Yeah. Tank Dell's ability to create separation in short yardage areas has really allowed for C.J. Stroud to find him when he needs to beat that pressure, and he also opens things up a lot more for Nico Collins. They really miss Tank Dell. Of course, they miss Joe Mixon, but they do miss John Mechie.
Can I add another one?
That was a mistake when they traded him. Yes, sir.
What would Brevin Jordan be doing right now? As the second tight end, the freakish athletic ability. They need guys that can get yardage, separation, and yardage and do something with the football right now. And C.J. Stroud is in the media talking about the offense is classified as a death by 1,000 cuts, and sometimes it's frustrating when you can't get the chunk yardage. That means you're going to need personnel that can separate, get the ball in their hands. And I'm going to tell you, it's driving me crazy. 2 things. I know we're up against the commercial break. 2 things. One drove me crazy is specifically about the offense. Any Gametime, as a former edge defender, the things that give you the most problems: snap count, changing the snap count, tempo, and draw screen reverse, DSR. There's a little bit of motion, but not enough. Where's the end around? Where is the wooded marks on 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5? We're going to get in the gun and we're going to run some draw action, right? There are so many different types of screens that you can run to mitigate some of this pressure. It's on tape. It's been on tape since last year. Teams know if you get in a pressure situation, whenever you see that defensive line and it's the corners are down, the safeties are down, and the linebackers are mugging those A-gaps, they're making CJ, who's control of how the count is for the offensive line, they're making him do more work. It's a flawed game plan. And then lastly, for me on this part, D'Amico, stop telling me how many one-score games you win, my boy. It's the National Football League, and I don't give a bleep. Are you winning the one-score games? You did in 2023. We haven't seen this team the last year of football. That's not fair. Yeah, the latter half of 24, outside of that LA Chargers game, coming into 25, look at CJ Stroud's numbers. And do y'all know Bryce Young has been better than CJ over the last 17 starts? I'll just leave it right there.
Yeah, we'll talk about CJ. I do want to get deeper into CJ in just a bit, but let's talk about the other elephant in the room, the play caller there. We'll do that here in a brief moment. Locked on Texans Squad Show. Before we get to all that, though, let's talk first of all about FanDuel. Yeah, you love FanDuel. Who doesn't? NFL season full on go here, and FanDuel they've got an offer that they don't want you to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little extra something on the side, riding on that action. Whether you're just a casual fan or love diving into those stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Well, visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started with FanDuel. Squad Show continues. There we are, all three of us, Michael Connor, John Hickman, and Stan Norfleet with you here on a Wednesday night. Thank you for stopping by if you're watching live. Of course, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure you're also checking out John with the Daily Locked on Texans podcast as well.
Great job, John.
Yes, as always.
Thank y'all, man. I appreciate it.
Now, we've done a little bit of talking here, of course, about Nick Caley and the game plan and all those things, but this is the least – I would go out on a limb right now of all the characters in the city of Houston and the Houston sports world. I think Nick Caley is the least popular. That's just my guess. Now, it's very easy to be that way when you're the offensive coordinator. I think it was really close between Nick Caley and Astros hitting coaches, and the Astros hitting coaches got fired, so now it's Nick Caley's thrown by himself. So
it shouldn't be Nick Caley, though.
Well, then who should it be?
It should be the other Nick.
It could be him too. We can get into him.
In my opinion.
I mean, I'm not mad about you there. They really are tied at the hip because these two of the New England ties, and we've talked about this before. We've talked about it a million times. And I think just for me, my overriding thought here is, and my frustration as a fan, and been a fan since this franchise started, is that we're still, like we always say, I feel like you're just trying to be New England. And I'm watching it every week, and I'm going, you're bashing your head into the wall, and it's the same story over and over and over again. You don't have Tom Brady at quarterback. For as much as I like CJ Stroud, I am losing some faith in him. We'll talk about him in a bit. But you don't have Tom Brady.
MC?
I am. We'll get into it.
Oh, wow.
But Nick Caley, not out the door just yet. Obviously, that question is going to come up to D'Amico Ryans. He's not making a change at offensive coordinator. It's 6 games and whatnot. Honestly, guys, do you think Nick Caley is one and done based off what we've seen through the first 6 games? Do you think that we're going to get to this season and he is out?
Oh man, that's a good question, and I'm going back and forth on it. I'll say this: they can't move on from him during the season. I've said it from when the 0-3 hold happened. Like
D'Amico's already said it. They're going to keep it as it is.
They got to, because there could be some good to come out of this. Also, but you also just fired the OC after 2 years. Doing it in the middle of the season, I think looks incredibly foolish on behalf of the Houston Texans. Now,
it's a great point by you, John. The reputation, the optics, what the football people around the league are going to look at DeMeco. I'm not calling him a clown. It's meaning not only did you fire an offensive coordinator, we got to start acknowledging he fired a friend. He sent his boy that they came up through the coaching ranks with together, packing to go get another first-time play caller in Nick Caley. I've asked DeMeco, if you're going to make some changes, do it at the bye. DeMeco knew good and bleeping well that they beat a beat-up Baltimore team and a bad Tennessee team. He knew what the first 3 weeks looked like.
Where do they go now, y'all? What, like play calling wise? Where do they go now?
They're gonna stay with what they got.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't have anywhere else to go.
They could go Bill Lazor. Bill Lazor's in the building.
And here's the real question: does it? Even if you did this, let's just say in a world where you made the change in the middle of the season, is it going to change anything? Because I'm willing to admit it. Look, I was Captain Optimistic going into the season about wide receivers and whatnot. The facts are the facts. You go find any great quarterback in this league. We all know this. They're littered with unbelievable talent around them. Like I was talking to my brother about this earlier today. We were just about, you go look at like, what if Joe Burrow didn't have his guys that he has there in Cincinnati? Is Joe Burrow, or is Lamar Jackson's a freak? Is Patrick Mahomes without Travis Kelce and Andy Reid? Like all these things, but like
Tyreek Hill coming in his second year.
Here's the truth,
Jalen
right?
Hurts.
The Texans, like you've been saying, they don't have enough talent offensively.
Remember, I used to use this term to start this season when we went training camp. We might have been in OTAs and mini camp. I said, the game that's played on Sundays, in this case Mondays, by the way, thank God that was the last double header on Monday night. And the Texans got a raw deal. Do you know they did not get back to Houston to the facility? They didn't get to NRG until 7 a.m. And then they have to turn around and play a noon kickoff local time on Sunday. It's one of the two shortest.
Went out.
At 7 a.m.? In all seriousness, this game is played on Sundays and Mondays. This is about aliens. And the Texans don't have enough of them. Who's responsible for going to find aliens and bringing them into the organization? That's Casario's primary job. Stock the cupboards, not just with starters, stock the cupboards with late round draft selections, undrafted guys off the street, and guys that can step in within a competent system and perform. The number one job of a general manager in the National Football League is to be the best scout in the city. He has to be. And you start looking at what Caserio has done, and he has done some good things. Let me be clear. They don't have enough aliens, and they're going up against people tell me, the Bucks, they're just good on defense, and the Rams are just good on defense, and Jacksonville just good on defense, and Seattle, they just happen to be one of the better defenses. Right now, the San Francisco 49ers are 7th in scoring defense, and they have injuries everywhere. Why? Because Robert Saleh coaches up guys, and they don't have quite as many aliens as they used to, but they still have some.
I want to also respond to that by saying a top 12 receiver in the NFL right now used to be in Houston. Houston traded a second-round pick for that player. They got him on a very team-friendly deal, but yet they decided to void the last 3 years of his deal before he even took a snap. You look at the difference that a Stephon Diggs would have for this offense this year. Because Stephon can play with his IQ and his years in the league. He can play in any offense. He can do anything that you would ask of a wide receiver. And I also want to take it back. This is 2025, so almost 18 years ago now. There has not been a rookie receiver to have an impact in New England since I started watching them. Mm-hmm. But they traded for Randy Moss. Randy Moss didn't need to do all of this extra. Moss was Moss, and you do to get him the ball. I say that to say, Stan, your point has been this since we got to the show. They didn't do enough. naming the last Big 12 receiver, go get the SEC guys and this, that, and the third. And I partially agree with that. But when you take guys out of their element to fit them into what you think is best, that creates problems. That creates confusion. And so I don't like hearing players over plays when obviously for 7 weeks now it's been fit what I want you to do in my plays, and I can't prioritize getting the ball to my players. You drafted these two guys, and through 7 weeks, it feels like a waste.
Yeah, like it's all fair points. It is unfortunate. And I can tell you what I think is happening. I think D'Amico, he was asked about this 3-game homestand today, and I was proud of him because he didn't say, hey, we're looking at these 3 games. He said, all I'm concerned about right now is San Francisco. And that's what he should be saying. However, when the guys in the locker room, when the morale is low, and I think it is, I have not seen that reported anywhere, but I'm just reading the tea leaves based on what is being reported and the things that I understand about locker rooms in this league that I've been around for over 25 years. There are guys in there that are not losing faith in D'Amico as a man. There are guys in there that aren't necessarily losing faith in the organization at whole or, the swarm mentality. I think there are guys in there that are looking at Nick Caley and that offense and CJ's body language and demeanor. And I think there are some guys in there going, if you work for the Texans defense, you show up to work every Sunday knowing it's going to be a long day. We're going to have to play 65, 70 snaps every day.
That's demoralizing too, man. And I know it's the NFL, and I know everybody's situation around the league is different, franchise to franchise, and I get it. But this is the second year of this. This can't keep happening. And so, when this is because it's a trend now, if we're in year 2 of this, and we're talking about the defense going to have to play over 60 snaps. MC, you've been around for a long time, and by no means am I calling y'all old. I'm just saying, the eyes have seen a lot of football. Okay. Stan, you've been around. You've seen a lot of football. I'm the youngest one of you guys, but I think we can look at what the Houston Texans and say we've seen enough to. When the trend is like this, somebody has to go.
Yeah.
Somebody will end up paying the price. I just don't know that it's going to be the offensive coordinator.
I think personally,
they cannot return in 2026 with Nick Caserio as their general manager.
Caserio's got to go, and that includes cleaning the house of the people that came with him that are affiliated. And that means that cleaning out of the coaching staff, and this will be D'Amico Ryan's last chance. And it sounds terrible, but it's his last chance. He's going to probably get – if it was me, I'd get somebody that he's comfortable working with and go to work.
Because what league is this? What kind of league is this?
So
Copycat.
No, I mean, it's buddy league, copycat, but this is a QB's league. We know, at least we've seen it, what CJ Stroud can do. But the last 2 years, a lot of the decisions that have been made offensively has been head scratches. They completely overlooked getting good running back depth. They continue to hold on to guys like Dare Ogunbowale and Damian Pierce. Again, I talk about voiding the last 3 years of Stephon Diggs' deal. I think that was incredibly asinine.
I think he had to do that to get Diggs to agree to the deal. I think they were trying to motivate Diggs to get the best of him, and it was working when he got injured, I believe, in week 5. So I think that was one with the agent and trying to get him from New England to secure him. I think they had to do it.
Okay, and then check this out. In the offseason, they made it seem like Stephon Diggs wanted too much. But what are they paying Christian Kirk? The number ain't that different.
Yeah. I think it's a couple $1 million different.
Dead money.
But here's the difference.
It's the
Caserio special. Isn't Kirk on just a one year left on his deal?
Kirk is getting paid.
Nick Caserio loves to play in the bargain bin. And it doesn't give you the talent that you need all the time.
I know we're going to break. I just want to tie a knot right there where you are, MC. See, here's the story of the Texans right now. And you can't have deficiencies in all these areas. Caserio has absolutely failed on the offensive line. That is clear. They chose Jake Andrews. Now, they may not feel like Jared Patterson is better for this system, but we've seen this team win a playoff game and multiple regular season games with Patterson at the center, right? So stop that. It's time to admit they were wrong in sending Laremy Tunsil out of here as early as they did. They should have held on to Tunsil one more time. I've been banging that drum for a long time. Ursery will be okay right now. He's still not better than Laremy Tunsil 7 games in. Nick Caserio botched the Kenyon Green. It looks like he's botched Juice Scruggs. It looks like he's botched Blake Fisher. So when your quarterback has talent,
John Mechie is also no longer here, and they traded up for John Mechie. I want to say they traded up for Christian Harris, and we can't find him.
Christian Harris is over there on the sideline fighting players that are actually playing like Jackson Smith and Jigba. When you haven't fortified the offensive line, you diminish the value of the quarterback, which means when you go get wide receivers, whether it be in free agency or in the draft in the latter rounds, it doesn't really matter how frequently they are, because teams know the quarterback is not going to have time, or we're going to confuse the bleep out of him because he's not being coached well enough. How do you stop the bleeding? You know what they need? And in the NFL, you can fix an offensive line in 1 year. Chicago has just done it. Kansas City did it 2-3 years ago. The Philadelphia Eagles draft an offensive lineman in day 1 or day 2 every year. Caserio for me, and I know we out of time. Lord,
got to go. I think is what we're all trying to say here. Let's talk
Cal
about
McNair. Yes. I'll wait. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
Let's
ahead.
bring it back. We know you got to go to a break.
It's a
when you
big
come
session.
back, it got to be the stand floor, man, because I know he got some heat holding on to.
We're gonna let him finish. Then I do have a question for you guys on CJ Stroud. We'll talk about it here a brief moment. Locked on Texans Squad Show.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
All right, back on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. Michael Connor, John Hickman, and Stan Norfleet. Thank you for joining us. If you're live, of course, make sure you're always subscribing to this channel. Spread it with your friends. Tell everybody that they should be on this channel listening to Texans discussion. Before we get to our CJ Stroud conversation, Stan, you got to get the rest of it off your chest. So go ahead and say the things that you need to say to Nick Caserio or to whoever.
I'm muting my mic.
Cal and Hannah McNair, you've done an excellent job reviving this organization. And Nick Caserio was a piece in that. Getting some good value in the Deshaun Watson trade. Getting some value, reasonably speaking, for Laremy Tunsil. Okay, I get it. You found your franchise quarterback, we think. Cal and Hannah, I told you to start this year. 2/3 of this league are offensive-minded head coaches. That means you're in the minority with the guy that you have. I like the guy that you have. I probably would have taken Sean Payton, but I understand why you chose D'Amico Ryans. And I'm not trying to run him out of town and whatever day this is, October 20, whatever. But if we get to the end of the year and this team is looking with this franchise quarterback you're looking at a single digit, and I'm really talking about, 4, 5, 6 wins, Cal and Hannah, because you have an obligation to the people that pay money and patronize your product in this city. You're going to have to start thinking about making real tough decisions. Andy Reid has been fired before. So has Bill Belichick. So has Pete Carroll. So has Bill Parcells. Do I need to keep going? All of these people that I've just named have won Super Bowl. And when it was time, they had to go, including Sean Payton, who I just named. Now, Sean Payton's an offensive guy, but you understand where I'm going here? Go get you. If D'Amico's not going to hire somebody that can fix this offense, then you better go fix or get somebody that knows how to fix it themselves. And those people exist out there if you're willing to pay the money and if you're willing to do the hard thing. I'm not ready to fire D'Amico today. This is airing on Wednesday. This is not going to get better on offense consistently. They don't have the personnel. So at the end of the year, what D'Amico is going to try and sell us is it was a tough transition year. We took a stab at some folks on the offensive line. I think Nick Caserio, Kaylee, and myself going into year 4 of CJ, we'll be able to fix it. And if the McNairs sit there and allow that to happen, then I'm going to question some competency over there in the big suite at NRG. I'm done.
I got to say, it took you a lot longer than it took me. I've been asking for the McNairs to sell the team for years. I'm not saying you're asking them to sell it.
Whoa, calm down.
Hand up.
This is MC's second time saying that.
I've been begging. I can probably go find I wrote an open letter to the McNairs years ago on the sports radio station that Stan and I used to work at on their website. I wrote I was during COVID times. I wrote a 10,000 word open letter to them to please sell the team because I can't. I think it started like any team else. Like we have the examples in this city right in front of our face. Do the Astros piss me off with what they're doing right now? Yes. But you know what? They've got great leadership at the top. And that's why they've won consistently for years. Same goes for the Rockets. Like why they're doing well now. Good leadership at the top and they're working it on their way down and here they go.
I disagree with the Rockets point.
Oh, I like the Rockets.
Whoa, number 2 in the West last year? Number 2 in the West last year?
So I know we're here to talk Texans, and I'll get back to the Texans. The Rockets have historically made bad decisions and overpaid players that never paying out for. I can talk about the Rockets all day. This is my favorite team of all time. But we once traded Shane Battier, traded for Shane Battier, and we gave up Rudy Gay.
The Rockets
that was a good fit. That's exactly what they needed, though.
The Rockets never have an issue getting aliens on their practice floor.
That's right. They got one, even though they lost.
They don't have a problem going to get aliens. They just got one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John. You got something. That's it. I'm not trying to fire D'Amico. I appreciate what you're saying, MC, about the McNairs, but I am preparing the McNairs. When we came into the season, everybody told me I was out of my mind. All these young players are going to be fantastic. The offensive line was going to work. I'm a hater. The offensive line was going to be fine. The new play caller has to be better than Bobby Sloyd. I've been right about everything I told you was going to happen when we went training camp. Every single thing, including this defense being the best.
If my everydayers are here, they've heard me say dating back to the second half of last season that I thought Bobby Sloyd was not getting the fair end of the stick. I thought that when you look at the offensive failures from the second half of the season, now granted, by that point, I think C.J. Stroud may have been sacked almost 40 times, and the injuries piled up. But there were a lot of moments in that second half, starting maybe from week 10, if I remember, where I placed more of the blame on the quarterback play. And I also want to say this because I know we're going to get to how much we're going to blame C.J. Stroud. The era of football is completely different. I think we all know that. We can acknowledge that. Starting down to middle school, but also the inflation of 7-on-7 football. And when we get to 7-on-7 football, there's no pressure for the quarterback. The quarterbacks typically have about 5 to 6 seconds to get rid of the ball, and they have the opportunity to just sit back there and stand and, dissect the pocket, which it is in the pocket. There ain't nobody in front of you to block. And so now we get to this space where I feel like Fans are looking for quarterbacks who have 5 seconds traditionally in the pocket every single time. They're asking the offensive line to always hold up for 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And the reality is, guys, when you get to the NFL, all that time that quarterbacks traditionally get in college and high school and 7-on-7 leagues, that goes down to 2 to 3 seconds. That's the NFL way. It's been that way since they started to play football. I know for sure since 1992. So what I'm getting at is I think C.J. Stroud is a heck of a quarterback, but it's unrealistic for us to always expect for the offensive line to save him. My favorite quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, has already alluded to on several occasions how NFL offenses are failing themselves because of some of the expectations that they're placing on their players out there. Sometimes CJ got to get rid of that ball and live for another down. CJ can't always drift back and make a 4-yard loss from a sack 18.
18-yard loss.
Even worse when we have tape on when he operates, steps up in the pocket, and either be decisive with his throws or with his legs and moves up and gets some extra yards. So when you look at how much do we blame CJ, and I think specifically for Monday night's game, I place a lot of the blame on CJ Stroud. This is year 3, and I know this is year 1 into this system, and you may not like this system. You may be leading the charge of getting rid of Nick Haley, but that doesn't negate from the things that you can control. And you control CJ Stroud drifting back and making bad sacks worse. You control not getting rid of the ball and having all of these turnover-worthy plays. You also control when you get Jaden Higgins open, who, might I add, was open a lot on Monday, and some of those go balls. You control your arm, your talent in your arm that you trust to get him the ball. Yeah, I was very disappointed with CJ Stroud on Monday night.
If I had to give him a grade, I would give CJ Stroud probably a D-. D as in dog. I would give him a D-. It wasn't just – it's everything. It was the drifting back, the sacks, the pressure, not setting the protection, missing. There were times he got his foot stepped on one time, which isn't his fault. I'm just saying, it adds to the list of it looked awful in front of the country. Which, by the way, it was a third of the people that stayed up to watch the Seattle Texans game that watched the what was that, Detroit and Tampa game before then. Nonetheless, look, CJ, I talk a lot about aliens and superpowers. CJ told you what his superpower was when he came to the league. Ball placement. What he left out to say, I'm a ball placement specialist when I'm not getting my head knocked off week after week, season after season. They aren't allowing CJ to be excellent because they aren't surrounding him with a lot of talent, and they aren't protecting him, whether it be by scheme design or by personnel. CJ was at least functional last year because he had Joe back there. CJ knows he doesn't have that guy. So if you don't have a guy that can alleviate that pressure, because Joe is a dog in his own right, then you're leaving CJ on an island to overcome it. Look at the guys that we asked to overcome deficiencies. Pat Mahomes. You know the names. Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Even Herbert is a physically more impressive quarterback than CJ Stroud. That's just the facts. Those other guys can overcome because of physically what they can do with the football. When you don't have that, then you must bring in a coordinator to tap into the cerebellum of your quarterback and get him prepared for what's going on pre and post snap. The guy that they have now that's in charge of getting in here for CJ is in over his skis.
Do y'all think that CJ's
over his skis? Yeah.
And I don't want to. Sometimes when you say things like that, you kind of question the mental aspect of a person and their IQ. But on a scale of 1 to 10, where do y'all see? And I want to hear from both of y'all. Where do y'all see CJ's ability to read and react to the pressure pre-snap? Is that an issue for him? Because
I feel like it's taken a step down from what we saw as a rookie. Is that not fair to say? Like, I think
this is his
whole
first
idea,
year calling it, right?
I think this whole idea of putting all this onus on him, like when I see what's going on and I'm thinking about the frustration I have with CJ Stroud, I want to see him put into a system that takes a lot of that away at this point.
So that's what he had.
I know. Like, that's what I need. Like I wasn't a fan necessarily of this dink and dunk. You guys know this. That was the one thing that I didn't love the thought of was, okay, we want to go make him again Tom Brady. Is I just put like you see what the best teams do, maybe outside of what? Like Lamar and Patrick Mahomes, because those guys can just make plays anywhere. It doesn't matter. But like, look what these guys in the systems to where they can go and succeed.
Look how Seattle is built. Look how Seattle is built. Seattle told you what they want to do. How Seattle plays is exactly how I shouldn't say exactly, but a semblance of how these Texans want to play. We're going to be super solid up front, which Seattle was. We're going to run the football. And then we're going to give our guys some weapons on the perimeter. We're going to get a phenom, Jackson Smith and Jigba, that has developed to be a top 10 receiver. And then we're going to go get a veteran that can get open when we need him to in Cooper Kupp. How that offense is built, they're doing some of the things, albeit some variants, to what the Texans say they want to do.
They could have hired that offensive coordinator that the Seahawks hired.
Oh, his last name is Kubiak, isn't it?
Yeah, he was available.
Don't we know him?
Yeah, I think so.
Clint?
Yeah, thought we did.
That's I know his daddy now.
Yeah, it look just like his daddy.
Look, you talking about look Clint?
Yeah, look just like his daddy. Yeah, yeah, calling plays, looking just something like his daddy. So this is what that's all I'm getting at. It's like, look, I do believe this, and we know it can happen before we go to break. We've seen franchises break quarterbacks. This is now.
Don't say it, Stan. Don't say it,
Stan. This is about. Don't say it, Stan. This is if they don't get this thing under control, they're gonna break CJ Stroud. And I don't mean physically necessarily. I mean just the desire. And we've seen Andrew Luck, generational talent. They said
got up out of here,
out the league in 5 minutes.
I have a theory. I put it out on my show that dropped today about CJ Stroud. We know who his agent is, right?
Yeah, David Muga.
We know his agent has always found the best situation for his players, money-wise and environment.
One of the best in the game, David Mogetta.
One of the best in the game. Houston also
had their reputation with the teams.
He never
whatever
has.
It takes.
With the players, he
get that money.
Don't get this right. Does CJ Stroud at some point say, "Hey man, I'm gonna hold off on signing because I may want to go back home"?
Nah, you just slap a franchise tag on him. I don't think you're worried about it at all.
CJ's got 5 years before he can start doing that, unless you talk about I'll hold out. Years. CJ could tell them, if you're not ready to give me a deal that I want to sign, cool. I'll hold out a camp. And then you, then D'Amico, Nick Caley, and Davis Mills, y'all can go figure it out.
And then the Texans can call his bluff, do the franchise tag, and say you want to not show up, not get ready, then hurt your play on the field when you do show up late. Go for it.
If
CJ has all the leverage
this offseason, and if the Houston Texans do not revamp their philosophy from top down, I'm sure that clock is ticking in his head on how long he will be in Houston.
I'm gonna give you this one again on the way out. Whoever the general manager is of the Texans when it's draft time in April, I understand they just selected Graham Mertz. If you have an opportunity to get you a guy, and I'm not talking about necessarily in the first round, but if you got a guy there in the second round, and you got a guy that's there maybe in the third round, that can be a developmental guy that you feel like you can hand the keys to one day, you do not be afraid to pull the trigger on that. Now, we'll cross that bridge again when we get there. But it ain't like I got CJ, I got Davis, I'm good. What does that do for you 2, 3, 5 years down the road?
Well, you got D. Millie.
Let's hope that he isn't. That's not a conversation that we honestly have to have. We do need to talk
before
we get out of here about the game this weekend. We'll do that in a brief second. Locked on Texans Squad Show. Before we get to that game, though, I want to tell you guys about Game Time. That's right, Game Time. NFL season's back, and honestly, well, there's nothing better than being in the stadium, surrounded by fans, cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout. It's frustrating. That's why I use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included. So the price you see, that's the price that you pay. The app, they make everything super simple, like I mentioned. Make sure that you can see the exact view of your seat on top of it all. That makes it just a more comfortable experience when it comes to buying your tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. That's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Squad Show continues. Michael Connor and Stan Norfleet and John Hickman with you for a few more minutes. We've broken down all the things that are bad about the Texans. Well, guys, is there anything that's good about the Texans that makes you think that they're going to play the San Francisco 49ers this weekend at NRG Stadium and win? And I will say this, I guarantee we will be able to tell through the television that it is a pro 49ers game because the tickets, I'm sure, will be sold to fans of the 49ers. And I just – you know it's going to be loud 49ers fans. There's no chance it's not going to be. It's going to be an embarrassing home field advantage for the Texans Sunday.
And I'm going to, at 12 o'clock. No. At 11 o'clock, I'm going to tweet Stan. And
you always do.
At 11:45, I'm going to tweet Stan again. And see, I'm going to include you on that. You know, what I do like is the idea of these receivers having to grow up right now. Good or bad. They through 7 weeks now, they've been phased out of the offense at times. We've seen more Justin Watson and Hutchinson and then Kirk when he came back. So we got an opportunity to see what Jalen Noel can do when he get the balls in his hands. I thought that was a positive. And then again, I know that he didn't record a reception, but on a few plays, Jaden Higgins was wide open. And on two of those plays, you may be looking at a potential score there. So no Nico Collins. He's in concussion protocol. I mean, I just don't see him playing, and I can't trust Christian Kirk to play as well. And if he does play, I'm going to wonder how much is that hammy going to limit him. This is a moment for those rookies to kind of put up or shut up. Those two rookies I liked a lot. I liked a lot coming out of college. I was kind of surprised that Houston drafted them both, but that's a banged-up 49er team. That's still a very good 49er team. I want to see can with the opportunities and reps and targets, can the rookies have an impact on the game?
The Texans are going to always have a chance this year as long as their defense is playing like the number one defense, scoring defense they are in the league. They're number 4 in yards, and they're not getting a lot of help. Everybody knows it. I admire that they're still, you talk about holding on to the rope, they're still holding the rope. This 49ers team, even though it doesn't look like the Deebo Samuels and Brandon Ayuk is not out there, Christian McCaffrey, who I covered, with his days in Carolina, he just won NFL Offensive Player of the Week for the NFC, over 200 scrimmage yards, including 2 rushing touchdowns. So he still looks like himself. George Kittle is still one of the top 3 tight ends in all of pro football. He still plays there. Kyle Juszczyk, I know people are going to laugh at the fullback position, How critical and pivotal has Juszczyk been to all those different running backs that cycle through that Kyle Shanahan offense and what he can do as a receiver? Now, Trent Williams was a little bit banged up. A couple guys popped up on the injury report. But I think offensively, it doesn't sound like Brock Purdy is ready to go. He was limited with turf toe today. Mac Jones is fighting through a knee and an oblique. People might laugh at Mac Jones. He's 3-1 as a starter in San Francisco. So I think offensively, this is not going to be some day at the beach for the Texans defense. To what John just said with this Texans offense, and I can't believe somebody has the nerve to make the Texans a 1-point favorite going up against this San Fran team, knowing this is a short week and they got screwed, if you will, coming back so late, given they were all the way up there in the Pacific Northwest and got back, and then now you got to play at noon on a Sunday. John mentioned the offensive players for the Texans that are out. So if you ask me, this is the first time D'Amico is going up against the old boss, Kyle Shanahan. Robert Saleh beat D'Amico twice when he was at the New York Jets as the head man. I can't, and I don't understand how anybody, given everything that we just talked about with Nico and Kirk being out, I can't justify how anybody can then turn around and say the Texans will beat. We can hope. Anything can happen this Sunday. For me, I don't see it. Not right now.
Guys.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news. This is from Christopher Curry in our Squad Show chat. Jerry Wayne, who was recently signed to the active 53-man roster, going to get some snaps at left guard.
I feel like any of us could get signed by the Texans and get some snaps at left guard right now.
Wow. It's just
I
wow.
thought that comment was so funny. I'm sorry, guys. Shout out to Christopher. I thought that comment was funny.
Now, there's no Fred Warner. They're also without Bosa, Bryce Huff, who they got in free agency. He's dealing with a hammy. So that defense is nicked up a little bit. I think Diamo is banged up. He left the game the other day. Now,
Kendrick Bourne.
They're coming off a win. They just went and got a win. The 49ers are 3-1 this year away from the crib.
Yep.
3-1, and like Kyle Shanahan is coaching his team through it. So I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk for the Texans. They're going to have to earn it. Perhaps. Is the defense going to go get 4 takeaways again? Likely not. But can they take the ball away enough, give the offense short enough field? This defense is going to have to start thinking about scoring points. Like, they're just going to have to get in the mindset every week. We're literally going to have to get the ball in the end zone. Will Anderson Jr. did that for them on Monday night.
And they still lost.
Still lost. Can you believe that? 4 takeaways, blocked the field goal, 4 takeaways, a touchdown, and we blocked the field goal, and the offense still couldn't score over 20 points.
It's embarrassing. I'm with you, Stan. I don't think that there's anybody in their right mind that can go into this game and say that the Texans should win it. And on the line being 1, obviously the typical home field advantage is 3 that teams get. So
Texans ain't got no home field advantage, man. Let's keep it real.
Wait.
They haven't had a home field advantage. When was the last time Deshaun Watson played? Oh,
I didn't think they had much of a home field advantage.
The last time I seen it, no, they had a very good playoff home field advantage against
playoff. It was good, yes. And the Browns the year before.
And the Browns the year before. The Bills when Deshaun was here. But
one of those JJ games, they
don't have no real home field. And that's sad, honestly. I do want to give credit to the McNairs. I think, and MC, I know you want them to sell the team, but I think they've done a good job in working back from where they were, doing those.
I agree.
Want to be traded from Deshaun years, and then the scandal, and then everything that happened once Bob passed on, and to where they are now. I think they've done a great job, and I think they've done a great job enough for fans to invest coming back into the NRG Stadium. I don't think the tickets are fairly expensive. The Gametime has. You've used promo code Locked On NFL at Gametime, you get $20 off your first purchase, but that is something that the Houston Texans fans got to be better at.
No, they absolutely do.
I think the Texans fans need to be better in expecting the team to play better on offense.
It's time to stop drinking Kool-Aid.
I can't wait to see. D'Amico, you had 15 days to get these guys ready to go play in Seattle. The defense, by and large, and it does perturb me, I'm quite peeved. Every time something goes wrong with the offense, D'Amico criticizes the defense. It's a team game. No, one phase of this thing took care of their business. You kind of had a block field goal by D'Amico Archery, and then Kyrie Fairbairn lost his mind, but he did knock in a field goal or 2. So, okay, Kyrie mostly handled his business. You got one phase that's glaring to everyone that is not holding up to their end of the bargain. And I don't believe, honestly, I don't, and perhaps I'm wrong. Because if you couldn't fix Bobby Slowick, and you know him, what makes me think you can fix Nick Caley and you don't know him? You haven't worked with him before. I don't. I don't have confidence that they're going to fix this thing. And what will we say when we're doing the post-game show if the Texans come up short, as I believe they will on Sunday? What will the energy be?
We're going to be
Go
asking
ahead.
who's getting fired. I said we're going to be asking who's getting fired. Again, same thing. Same thing.
And no rest for the weary, because after that, here comes Denver.
So I'm picking Houston to win against San Fran. I think
Whoa!
You are?
Yeah,
Whoa!
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I know you said nobody in their right mind, and I'm puffing on.
What's in that glass? What's in that glass?
I mean, it's about time for a parting shot here.
I'm on that Texans juice. But no, seriously. Next time we talk, I'm gonna ask you guys if we had the opportunity, and this would be a fun kind of conversation. But as a collective, if the squad show in another dimension got hired to be general managers by committee, what would we do to improve this situation for Houston?
I'd get some dirt on the McNairs and force them to sell a team.
Oh my goodness! All right,
they're cooked, bro. They're cooked, bro. Because quite frankly, this offense is predicated. They said they want to run the football. They ran the ball 15 times with running backs. So that doesn't make sense. Okay, you out there with Chubb and Woody Marks. That's who you chose to sign, and that's who you chose to draft. Now, Casario would say, well, Stan, maybe I wanted some better guys, but those guys got to want us too. If I was a running back, I want to know, who am I running behind? Because Joe Mixon looked like he was pretty tired last year. Who am I running behind? That's the offensive line they put together. So in the middle of this season right now, all of the things that ail the Texans, they can't fix all of that right now. They're stuck. It's going to look, there are going to be some days that it does look better. There'll be some days it may not look Baltimore, Tennessee-ish, but it'll look better than it did the other night. But majority of the rest of the season is going to look like those other four opponents, the good teams in this league. That's what it's going to look like.
All right, we got to get on out of here. So you guys, you got anything else for your parting shots, or have you said it all?
No, I got a parting shot, but I'll wait. Oh, go ahead, MC, with your parting shot.
I don't have one. I'm tired. Oh. Well, I know this. I'm tired of watching you lose. I'm tired of going into every season being optimistic. And I know the last couple of seasons were good. And then you just completely crap it on my heart. I don't need it anymore. I'm in a phase of my life that it's about peace and love and joy. And you're not giving me that this year. So give it to me, please.
MC sounds like a retired family man. That's what he sounds like. Peace, love, and joy. A retired family man that used to be a hippie. And he's back.
He's an empty nester now, living in Montrose or something. I don't know. Maybe he's over in River Oaks somewhere. Parting shot for me. Just want to say what up to everybody that's in the chat. Christopher Cure is saying Stan spin facts. Also, Sup Food 23. Stan, no disrespect, but you might need your own show. From your keyboard to God's ears. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
And listen, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Stan, who told you to kick off the Stan show on YouTube?
Oh no, you've been on it for a while. Yeah. I put it down. I thought I had another avenue, but then some wires got crossed, and so that's cool. The enemy tried to slow me down, but I'll be back in a little bit.
There we go. Y'all spam.
Appreciate being up here with y'all though. Yeah, I've been tired. The game has thrown me off last week. I'll get back to talking my bleep during the week. Starting tomorrow, we talk full-fledged, no more Seattle, only San Fran. Starting tomorrow.
I'm preparing for a loss in your mind and my mind, and then John's mind a win. When the game ends Sunday, don't forget to join us here for the Locked On Texans Squad Show. Wade Smith, former Texans offensive lineman, will join us as well. We hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your, I don't even know what day it is anymore. Wednesday. We'll talk Sunday on the Squad Show.